Okay. How can I make short-term overview what happened? There are three ancient beings we think made this world. They have a sword, but because they fucked up in this city where we are right now, they formed rebels, and those stole the sword from them, that sword from them, which they did then bring to our village. We are a seer with a scribe and another friend who survived the massacre in this city and fled to this other village. Now we are going back, basically back to this city where this all happened, to join the rebels, to fight against these triumvirate, as they call themselves, to hopefully free them, to hopefully defeat them and free the world. So we think, but it seems a little bit more complicated. Also important to notice is that one of our friends owes us a dance in a maiden dress. Yes, that's very important to note. And we are still waiting for that. Meanwhile, we also romanced heavily two of the characters of all the optional romance people that are in the game. And here we are in the Rebels HQ. Very drunk, I might add. Extremely drunk. Not because it's not our fault. Everybody is offering alcohol. So, welcome back, Nick. And that's basically where we are. Yay. Right. Yes, no. Let me see. I'm gonna do a small check. Just for a second. Just to make sure. Give me informations here again. Next objectives. This argument. Marks optional side areas. But there's no indication if there are events, right? Yes. Just curious. You know, when you think about it from a logical standpoint of the story, you're like, finally, the Rebel HQ, it's night, I'm drunk, I can't walk anymore, and then the player goes like, how about we go back? Seer goes like, no, I can't walk anymore. Stop it. Also, you simply go to Demek's room and grab him by the collar and go like, you know what? It's time to travel. It's like, wait, it's late night and we need to sleep. No! Can you even go further back than this? Is that even possible? Or do I need to go here and I have a... No, actually I don't. Okay. I think I did this before, right? Yeah, there's nothing here. Sorry about the delay of the story, I'm just curious. There's nothing going here because we basically had him in the party from there on. Do I have to do this? Yes. Okay. So I assume we go now to the war table because it's not like we need sleep or anything. Yes, will noise. Does one agree with this? The game audio. Okay. It's strange you say it's loud because I actually reduced the maximum limit of the game audio. But hey, no problem. The master? Is the music loud? How about this? Okay. No problem. See, this is something I wish that streams would have in the future. Not only that we, as streamers, stream like one audio line to you, we stream multiple audio lines to you. Because my biggest wish would be like, okay, here I am in the stream. I can have the stream normal as usual, but optional, I can also individually change the volume for things like a master volume, a volume for the game, a volume for music that is also playing, maybe not from the game, but like an other music that is playing, the microphone, like at least those audio lines that you could change individually on your side as a watcher, that would be amazing. Because then you don't have to do this all the time, because then I feel like, oh, it's too quiet for me, but it's fine for you, and the other way around. I mean, I wouldn't have to change it in game. I could leave it where it is and just change the overall audio of the game, but that is also not really favorable for everybody. So yeah. Warning. Moving to the war table will initiate Act 3. Act 3 is a long series of cutscenes with no side content. Please make sure you have sufficient time set aside to watch. What does that even mean? What is a long series of cutscenes? Speak to me in minutes and hours. I mean, on the positive side, that means I don't have to talk. I can just listen. The whole night, you are aware the night basically ends in 45 minutes. For me, at least. Then the next day starts, which is still night, of course, but hey. Would you like to initiate Act 3? Yes. And here we go, 20 minutes credit scene from Lord of the Rings. Nice. And then 14 hours of Lord of the Rings. God damn it, I still need to read. I enter the war room and see Damek standing over the table. drunk, just like me. He's moving wooden figures from place to place, forming a strategy. I guess this was my first time seeing him in action. It was impressive.
I'm glad you came, Seer.
How is this our audio going for you? That's not an answer. He talks to me while he works, displaying grace and lack of effort. I'm not sure. Yeah, it was only one sentence. It's almost like a second nature for him. What was he planning? I notice a map on the table with figures scattered about different regions.
So tomorrow we'll begin your training with the Blade of Exodus. But in addition to that, we'll have to train you in swordplay as well. I think Ulrich should be free. I can't really think of a better teacher.
He's still going to destroy me. It's loud. Why is it now louder for you? That makes no sense. No, I didn't change the audio for the microphone. I only lowered the maximum audio for games. That's why it's strange. Ba 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 ba. Yeah, microphone audio is the same. Okay, I have lowered it a little bit. Let's see how it sounds now. He eyes the scabbard on my back and the base of the sword.
We think that the more you use it, the more you'll tolerate it. If you're like me, you got overwhelmed the moment you touched it. It's about adapting. Slow exposure will help you become stronger.
I see a problem. I see the problem. One moment. My bad. I messed it up. I'm sorry. Because I had a separate audio line, deleted it, made it over the game, which doesn't tell you much, but basically, the separate audio line that had the filter is gone, and I didn't set it up again. So, one sec. You will see in a moment. So,
But we're also in a rush, so I've worked out a schedule for you. It balances both exposure therapy as well as combat training. There's a bit of free time in there too. You'll be needing it.
how is it now? Yeah. You see, the audio cannot pass a certain limit that I have set now, which is a little bit lower than usual. So that is now in place. So it cannot get louder than this. But if the music or the voices are now not loud enough, tell me. He points to a paper resting on the war table. I pick it up and start inspect the contents. The contents. It's a detailed itinerary. I'm impressed.
Now, there's one more thing. The spirit idol we discovered is right down there. It's a bit of a walk, so I'll have to show it to you later.
I cannot walk anymore. Stop it. He points to a small exit in the back corner of the room. It almost looks like the entrance of a cave. It stands out. They must have dug out a large portion of this room.
It's also where I chose to bury Salus, our former leader. I guess I can be sentimental when it comes to that stuff. It just seemed like the right thing to do, you know? Now, let's go over your...
Before he can continue, he's immediately cut off. Pro runs into the room, panting heavily, clearly exerted. But there's a hint of fright and concern on his face too.
Dominic, come quick!
Pro, what's going on? I'm in the middle of a meeting here.
The meeting can wait, Dominic, please! Grizz is here and he's causing a commotion!
What? Alright, let's go. We should probably talk to him, Seer. I'm pretty sure I know what he's after.
How's that audio now? How is it? Is it good? Okay, on the next side it's fine. We have a noise? I like how my subtitles change your name. I say we have a noise, but it says have a nice or real noise. We all nod to one another and Pro starts leading the way. Whatever was coming our way, I'm sure Damek could handle it. Could he? We run to the atrium to handle this situation as fast as we can. When we arrive, I see Ulrich standing imposingly before Grizz. A good choice. Ulrich could fight off almost anybody.
Stand down, Grizz.
I only want to see Dominic. We had a deal and it's his turn to deliver. Don't forget, I'm the only reason you're down here.
Grizz looks back toward us, noticing our entrance.
Please, Ulrich, stand aside. Insubordination isn't your style.
He tilts his head back toward Damek. Ulrich turns and looks, noticing that we are here. Saying nothing, he turns around and walks away. He rests his back against the wall and simply watches. It seemed like almost all of our tension was cut from the air. Those two men in a deadlock was a scary sight to behold.
Good. Now, Dominic, it's time. Unless anybody else wants to challenge me.
Damek takes slow steps forward, cautious not to make sudden movements. Grizz grips the handle of the hammer resting on his back, as if to threaten.
Now, Grizz, let's remain calm. I fully intend to hold up my end of the bargain. There was just some important business to take care of.
He motions toward me.
Yeah, I know. But all the pieces are in place, Dominic. Will you please take me to see it?
Damek shuffles it in place, anxious.
I suppose I can rearrange my schedule a bit. Sorry if it appeared like I was going back on my word.
I'll accept that apology when you take me to the idol. I'm sure you understand. I'm past the point of buying time. And make sure you bring that new friend of yours as well.
Oh, so it was the idol he wanted. And from the way he spoke, he wanted me as well. Wow. At least ask me out on a date first. Of course, this is all likely related to the Blade of Exodia.
Very well.
Damek simply concedes without contest. Of course, before we can move, there's an interruption. Being a rebel was always being a rebel was a busy life. It's always something. However, this something was far bigger than any of us imagined. It's a titan. Damek looks on looks on in shock as a young man slowly enters the room. With heavy, labored steps, they appear to be weak and tired.
Shane? Shane, you're back!
Damek runs forward and Grizz steps back. He seems to understand what was going on too. Shane had come back from his trip to Balteas.
Damek.
He's here to kill you. Think, Shane. Think.
Shane, I can't believe this! I was so worried we lost you!
Everyone watches in awe.
Did they hurt you? Are you okay? Do you need anything? Pro, go grab some water, quick!
No, Damek, I'm fine. Don't worry about it, Pro.
Pro stops in his tracks upon hearing this. If anything, it just looked like Shane needed some rest.
I'm sorry, Damek.
For what? Oh, don't be silly, Shane. I'm the one who should be apologizing here. It was foolish of me to send you into danger like that.
Shane steps forward and wraps his arm around Damek. His arms around Damek. Everyone seems so relieved, and all of the tension is gone. Even Grizz cracks a smile as he watches this happy reunion. Reunion, clown, reunion. But Shane takes advantage of our lowered guard. Reaching into his pocket, he pulls out a dagger. Before any of us can react, the damage is done. Damek screams and stumbles back in shock. Shane was fast. His abdomen is covered in wounds. He shakes, blood spilling on the floor at an alarming rate.
Shane?
Ulrich is the first to react, and he tries to restrain Shane. However, it's no use. It's no use! He's far too agile to be caught.
Shane, what have you done?
He doesn't respond and grabs a bow and some arrows from the nearby weapon stand. All of us are panicking, not sure what to do. Could Ulrich take on Shane alone? Within a few moments, though, that is the absolute least of our worries.
Sophie, now!
Immediately after Sophie enters the room from the entrance to the tunnels. There's a man in a white suit of armor with him too, like the honor guard. What was he doing here? This was definitely coordinated. We're in trouble.
Sometimes I wish it wouldn't be so easy. Look, Halen, even the suits of armor are still alive. All the time in the world, and they didn't even act.
Pitiful.
They both look at all of the honor guard in the atrium. Minding their own business, they just stumble around. There's a lot, but they pose no real threat to anybody. Zoe steps forward, looking at all of us. Ulrich grips his blade and stands in the way.
Leave.
Or else, what?
I'll kill you.
So dramatic, Ulrich. You've certainly grown. Where was that bravado 500 years ago?
That's a little bit long. 500 years ago? Ulrich growls and grits his teeth, easily provoked. All of us are locked in place, too scared to move.
You're outnumbered. Don't test me. If Damek dies, we'll find another leader. You've done no real damage to us, Sovi.
Is that so?
Sovi grins and raises one of his paws in the air. With a dramatic snap of his fingers, I stumble back. The blade is reacting and trembling. What's going on? That's loud. There's a quick flash of white light. Wait, I know this feeling. From my vision in Valinor when he animated those suits of armor. Can he truly manipulate the blade without even touching it? He can. All hell breaks loose before I can even start to process these events. The honor guard grab their blades and start massacring the rebels. With a simple snap of his fingers, he sent them all into a murderous rage. All I can hear is screams of agony as our forces are caught off guard. Bodies start to litter the floor while other rebels grab weapons and fight. Grizz runs forward and grabs Damek's body, slowly dragging it away.
Sir, come with me. Let the rebels keep the enemy occupied. I have an idea, but you need to do what I say.
I nod and follow after him. I'm still not able to process anything. How would the rebellion recover from this? Billions dead. Within minutes, almost all of the rebels were killed. This isn't how things were supposed to happen. I look down at Damek's body and it's motionless. A trail of blood follows me and Grizz as we flee the area. But before we can leave the atrium, Shane notices the trail. I feel a sharp pain in my chest and suddenly drop to the floor. I can't move. I look down and notice an arrowhead protruding from my torso. He shot me in the back. That's all I can take in before everything fades away. However, with what just happened, I'm certain of one simple fact. The rebellion is no more. The troop morale has fallen by 75%. So we abandon this timeline and start again. Wait. Valles and Fortame rush to the atrium, frightened by the sound of commotion. Members of the Honor Guard rush past them to carry out their brutal objective. When they arrive, a horror awaits them. It's clear that the rebellion has lost.
Oh no!
Ulrich, what's going on?
Ulrich is locked in combat with Sovi, violently swinging his sword. But Sovi dodges with ease, swaying his body from side to side. When he gets a chance, he lands a harsh punch on Ulrich's chest. Falling back, Ulrich is brought to his knees. He pants heavily, trembling as he rises back up.
I don't hide behind a sword like you and your seer. Now tell me, Ulrich, how does it feel to lose to me? To see everything around you crumble and fall?
He laughs. a maniacal cackle echoing through the halls.
Perhaps now you regret changing sides.
Never. This isn't over, Sophie. Stand back, both of you.
He waves his arm dismissively at Valessa and Fortame. However, it was already too late. The honor guard is closing in on them. Ulrich turns and tries to help them, but a blow to the back of his head knocks him down. He can only watch through blurred vision as the honor guard overpowers them. Screams assault his ears, and they are slowly silenced. Had they been killed too? He scans the room, trying to find Pro, but he can't. Perhaps he's among the bodies. Sophie steps over and kicks Ulrich in the gut, causing him to grunt and roll over. A few moments later, he kneels down and stares Ulrich straight in the eyes.
You thought you had everything under control. Abandon Valenorth, gather your forces, and attack Balteus. It would work if we didn't have you in our grip the entire time.
Thank you, Nick. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, night, weekend. It's good to see you always. Thank you so much. Take care.
All we wanted was to destroy Mazeo's spirit idol, Ulrich, the final idol in all of Alestia. The sickness almost cured. I know what you're thinking, though. The vision of Valenorth? The seer saw only what the triumvirate wanted him to see. A trick to lure every single one of you down here. It worked! And after I kill you, the seer's life and that blade will be mine. May the triumvirate reign eternal.
Shane and Halen approach Sophie, leaving Ulrich to look up at all three. Sophie holds a paw out to Shane, who gives him his dagger without hesitation. Pressing it up against Ulrich's throat, Sophie pauses, savoring the fear in his eyes.
I'd ask if you had any last words, but you don't deserve the satisfaction.
Not so fast!
Everybody quickly turns to look at Pro as Pro runs in from the tunnels. He pants heavily, having clearly run a large amount. He smirks.
Alex, do it now!
A few moments later, an army of pirates floods in from the tunnels. Sophie, Halen, and Shane quickly become defensive, trying to fend them off. There was enough now that they stood a chance. Their targets were clear. Using the commotion as cover, Pro rushes to Ulrich's side. He helps him to get on his feet as he finally returns to his senses.
Where's everybody else? Valessa? Fortim, the seer?
Ulrich looks down at the floor, ashamed.
It's too late.
He places a paw on Ulrich's shoulder. Shaking his head, he knows that Ulrich is wrong.
It's never too late. Come on, let's take them down. They won't get away with this. They can't.
Ulrich smiles and nods, and they quickly rush into combat. Things were starting to turn around. They were no longer outnumbered. Sophie, however, uses this commotion to sneak deeper underground. While everyone was distracted, his objective was clear. He's going to get some mithril from the dwarves. Gris carries me and Damek into the room behind the war table. The massive spirit idol glows and radiates energy. It's beautiful. Through my faded vision, it only appears more surreal and odd. He carries me to one side of the room and rests me down. Rests me down? What is this? I notice that the arrow in my chest is gone, replaced with bloodied wrappings. He must have treated me during the time I just lost. But what about Damek?
There were some supplies back in the crew quarters. I was able to treat your wound. No vital areas were harmed. It's almost like he did that on purpose. Unless you got really lucky.
Yes, he's a cyborg. He sighs and looks back at Damek, who me. Who he had rested down on the other side.
But he wasn't lucky. I'm sorry, Seer. He's gone.
But my romance points, which I don't have in this save. No.
But we can still fix this. This is what I've been wanting all along. A chance to tap into that idol's power.
Let me guess, it sends us back in time. He looks at the blade on my back. Reaching behind my shoulder, he undoes the scabbard. It falls to the ground. He closes his eyes and takes a deep breath.
Please, let me take your blade. This is the deal I made with Damek, to free the spirits from those suits of armor.
I look up at him, confused. Pain coursing through my body, and I tremble. I grab the scabbard and hold it tightly in my hands.
Please,
Pause.
Seer. There isn't much time. 20 years ago, I led the occupation with Sovi. The people I killed, they're trapped in those suits of armor. If you give me the blade, I can use the power of that idol. I'll release those spirits. I'll give them the freedom they deserve. I need to do this. It's the only way I can make up for what I did. And without the Honor Guard, this battle is won. Your allies can easily fight against Sovi and his men. There's still a chance to win here. We need to take it.
He looks down at the floor and his ears fall flat.
I know why I recognized you and your friends back at my office. During the occupation, there were people that looked just like you. I was just following orders. Trust me, I regret what I did. All of it.
Wait, does he mean?
Your parents, they were in Museo during the occupation, right? It's more than coincidence. This must be happening for a reason. They aren't dead, Seer. They're trapped in those suits of armor.
I noticed the glisten of tears forming in his eyes.
Sent there by me. Let me free them, Seer. It's what they would want. It's what they all want.
My grip on the scabbard tightens. He killed our parents? I can tell he's truly sorry, but this is just too much to take in. Pain in my chest gets more intense, and I wince.
Here, I've got you.
He wraps one arm around me, slowly helping me to my feet. Together, we take slow steps across the room toward the idol. I look at Damek's body in the corner of my eye, still and lifeless.
I stopped serving the Triumvirate the moment I got the chance. Being forced to live in those suits, forced to wear their colors. Nobody should have to suffer such a fate. We can fix this.
As we get closer to the idol, the earth starts to shake. Thank you, bot. Time to hydrate. There's a massive reaction coming from my blade. Grizz holds me tighter as the tremors get more intense.
I picked up some information when I served the Triumvirate. That blade has the ability to bend its power to your will. It all depends on what the wielder wants it to do. They want power, and so it gives them an army. We want freedom, and so that's what we'll have. Please, Seer, let me do this. It's all I ask.
Each step we take causes emotion to well up within me. This is all too much. It's all happening too fast. No matter how hard I think, I have no idea what to do.
I know it will kill me, but I've come to terms with that. It's a fitting punishment, considering what I've done.
We reach the idol, and I'm almost blinded by its light. I can understand that Grizz wants his redemption, but his crimes against the world and our families were awful. I could always tap into the power of this idol myself. How would the lesser and Fortame feel if I sided with Grizz? Some crimes aren't forgivable. Is this one of them?
Please.
What did it say on the top left? That this is a permanent change? Something like that? Ah! Haha. Come on, make a choice. What to do? 3 hours later. Bum 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 ba-dum. What to do? What to do? And here we are, making a choice between 1 and 2. It rhymes. I don't know. You have to ask the devs. They are the only ones who know. Plus everybody who finished this game in a specific way. He don't know. Ba 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 ba. Ra 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 ra. Meow 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 meow. Look, basically I just made a save, so it's not really a risk. It's just a choice. Do you want to make a choice? Okay. I suppose it was. He truly felt bad for his actions in the past. With a slight nod, I hand him the scabbard, and he smiles.
Thank you, Seer. Stand back. This could get dangerous.
I'm fully prepared that this is going to backfire hardcore. Doing as instructed, I stand there and watch him act. I need to back against the wall since the pain is still so intense. Without spiritual energy inside of him, the blade would kill him quickly. I'm glad that he thought it was a worthy sacrifice. Bring the spirits and destroying the honor guard. Bring the spirits and destroying the honor guard in the tunnels. The tables would be easily turned. We'd come back from this defeat. He hesitates.
So I guess this is it.
He closes his eyes.
I'm sorry, everybody. I hope you can learn to forgive me. In your final moments, know the triumvirate will fall.
I see him take the blade out of the scabbard. But after that, I see only white, that blinding light. Grizz grunts, clearly overpowered by the blade. The ground begins to shake even more. It's worrisome since we're in a cavern. If it caved in, that would be the end.
You're free now. And so am I.
The light slowly subsides and my eyes start to adjust. When they do, I see Grizz dead on the ground, clutching the blade. The idol starts to flicker, its light slowly going dim. Was it over? I slowly walk over to him, but the tremors continue. With a violent shake, I'm thrown on the floor. Crawling over, I do my best to reach the blade. Would the honor guard fall? Was this truly the end of this nightmare? I hope that's the case as I arrive at the blade. Stabbing it into the ground, I slowly use it to help myself up. It's hard because of the tremors and I almost lose my balance. But with enough effort and strength, I'm finally back on my feet. It doesn't overpower me like before. This time, I expect different. Like Grizz said, it bends to the will of the wielder. Everything has changed. Oh, half drop of the name. I put the scabbard back on, but I hold onto the sword with a slight grin. I'm in control of it now. Meanwhile, Grace is like, I'm alive. Ugh. I stand there using the blade as a crutch. With the ground shaking so violently, it's hard to stand up. I'll need to go back to the atrium. They need to know about this. Wait.
No! What have you done?
I've done everything wrong. You're welcome. Sophie charges into the room, catching me completely off guard. He stands there, panting, looking at the idol and how it flickers. With a grunt of rage, he starts running at me, ready to attack. Because of the trembling earth, however, he stumbles a bit. I use this to my advantage and jump out of the way. Landing with a quick roll, I'm back on my feet. We circle around each other, both hesitant to attack. I hold out the blade, as if to threaten him.
There's so much you don't know.
That is correct. He smirks and lunges forward to attack me. I hold out the blade to guard myself, but I'm not sure what to expect. But I'm not sure what happens next. With a snap of his fingers mid-lunge, the blade suddenly vanishes from my hands. A few moments later, it rematerializes in his. I don't have enough time to brace myself. It's already too late. Moments later, I'm on the floor with Sophie on top of me. Woo-woo. So, he can wield it, just like the vision showed me. Gripping the blade in one paw, he uses the other to punch me. That's not nice. Repeatedly in my chest, causing the wound to open more and bleed, but that hurts. I kick and scream in agony, trying my best to withstand his harsh blows. He's smart. Soon enough, the pain is too much to fight back. I can only squirm and wince underneath him, enduring the assault. The cavern starts to crumble and pieces fall from the ceiling.
There's no one here to save you, Seer. Your life is mine, and the rebellion is no more.
Smirking, he lowers the blade to my neck.
May the triumvirate reign eternal.
I use all of my strength to reach up and grab the blade. Trying to push it away, I realize there's almost no point. But soon after, the blade reacts to both of our touches. Another flash of white light engulfs the entire room. The pressure is relieved from my neck and I hear Sophie struggle. Just like Chris said, the blade reacts to the will of the wielder. But whose will was stronger? I raise up my other paw to grab the blade as well. I close my eyes and focus with every fiber of my being. Spirits, please do something. Save me. Save us all. The light subsides and I see Sophie looking down at me in shock. I can see the horror in his eyes, but I have no idea what just happened. Perhaps the blade gave him visions like it did for me back in Valinor. He panics and throws the blade on the ground.
So it is true. The spirit realm is...
Slowly standing up, he takes a few steps back. Looking down in my eyes, I can see sadness within him. So many conflicting emotions, all in the span of a few seconds. He scoffs and turns his back to me.
Remember my mercy, Seer. Next time you won't be so lucky.
To my complete shock, he simply runs away. I tilt my head to the side and watch him leave. The blade rests beside me, so I reach for it. Beside me. But any hope of salvation is quickly lost. It's over. As soon as Sophie leaves the room, it starts to cave in. Rubble and debris block the exit, leaving me trapped inside. I look over at Damek's lifeless body and start to cry. My wound bleeds profusely and my vision slowly wanes. With my final moments, I grip the blade and pray for help. But before I slip away into nothingness, that help never comes. The end. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Ulrich and Pro stand back to back, destroying the honor guard with ease. The pirates, on the other hand, keep Shane and Halen occupied. They were starting to come back from. This. They could survive.
Another one down. Come on, Auric, pick up the pace. If you lose this, you'll never hear the end of it.
Ulrich takes down 4 suits of armor with one swing of his sword.
Oh, we're keeping count. Then I think Alex and his crew are winning. But at least now we know who Damek chose.
Why did they decide to make this a Lord of the Ring reference between Gimli and Legolas? Why? They look over at Alex, who fights off Halen and Shane. He's an expert swordsman, one of the most impressive in the world. Moments later, him and his crew have the enemy surrounded. Halen and Shane pant heavily, worn out from the intense fight. But they look around at the fallen honor guard, realizing they're outnumbered. The initial strike was devastating, but the rebellion was slowly bouncing back.
Where's Sovi?
I think he's gone to the idol.
Then that means...
Before he can finish talking, the ground starts to shake. Everyone is caught off guard, stumbling around.
It does! Shane, retreat!
But so...
He'll catch up later. Let's not do anything stupid.
Sorry. Shane nods and they start to run away. Run away! They were cornered near the tunnels, so it's an easy escape. Ulrich and Pro slowly march over, standing by the pirates' allies.
What should we do? Should we chase after them, Ulrich?
No, let them go. We can't risk being led into another trap. They hit us too hard. We need to mitigate the damage.
They nod and back down.
We're a team now. We're here to help. If there's anything you need us to do, just say it. We owe Damek everything. He changed Mazeo's future.
Thank you, Alex. I have a feeling there's a lot of work to do. But before that, let's take care of the honor guard.
Roger that.
They all turn to face the suits of armor, but they are shocked. The honor guard remains perfectly still, not moving an inch. The continued shaking of the ground causes them to fall over. Hitting the ground, they shatter into pieces like an army of glass. A bright flash of white light emanates from the crew quarters. Along with that, the earth trembles with more intensity.
What's going on?
It must have something to do with the idol.
But they said Sovi was down there.
I think I saw Grizz carry Damek and the seer down there. Sovi wouldn't want this to happen. So that means...
They're still alive?
They must be. Come on, let's go. Alex, man the tunnels.
You got it.
They start running toward the war room, but don't make it very far. Ulrich stops in his tracks as he notices movement in the corner of his eyes. Valessa and Fortame, they were moving. They must have survived.
Wait! Hold on! Pro, look!
Ulrich points and they both make their way over to Valessa and Fortame. Crouching down, Pro offers his paw to Valessa and Ulrich to Fortame. They help them to get to their feet and they look shaken and traumatized.
What happened? How did you survive that?
He was totally convinced that you died. I can't believe your luck. I'm surprised.
They both look at the ground, almost as if they are shamed.
I thought they were going to kill us, but they didn't. I don't really know what happened.
They didn't attack us. They pushed us to the ground. It's almost like they wanted us to stay out of harm's way.
Yeah, we wouldn't have stood a chance in combat. I don't know why they wanted to help, but they did.
I think I know. Never mind.
She quickly changes the subject.
Where's the seer? Ulrich, take us to see him.
Right, of course. They must be by the spirit idol. Damek too, it's not that far. Follow me.
Deciding not to question Providence, they all follow Ulrich. In a time like this, it was best not to doubt your blessings. However, the lesser remains a few paces behind, thinking,
Mom? Dad? Thank you.
My vision slowly fades back in, much to my surprise. I've been on the verge of death for what it seemed like an eternity. I'm strong, my will and the power inside of me refuse to give in. Pain radiates from the wound in my chest, but I'm almost getting used to it. I'll never get used to pain, that's a bad thing. Zoe's attempts to make it more fatal had clearly failed. Or did they? I remember the thought I had in my mind the moment I faded away. I wanted to be saved. I wanted to make it through this alive. Could the blade have that much power? Could it have saved me? I backed myself up against the wall and lay against it. Then I scanned the room. Wait, what's that? A hulking shadow is on the other side of the room, whispering to itself. But Damek's body is still on the floor. Who could that be? I look at the exit of the room. It's still caved in. Impossible. There was no one else in this room with us. Their ears perk up. They must have heard my movements. Quickly turning to face me, they take heavy, slow steps. Stumbling from side to side, it's almost like they can't balance. I can't see their face. My vision is too blurry. But when they make it to my location, they kneel down. While normally I would be frightened, I seem to feel at ease. Hello there. They reach forward and place a paw on my chest. I hadn't realized it, but in my confusion, the pain had stopped. Or was it even there to begin with? Maybe I just felt it in my head. They let go, shake their head dismissively. A flick of light from the dying idol illuminates their face. When I see them, I ask who they are, but get no straight answer. Maybe I get a gay answer.
Gaze into the abyss after a lifelong journey and plead. Beg for the answer to your most undying question, and tell me what would frighten you most, being left in silence or hearing an answer.
What? I don't understand, and I shake my head. But something tells me that they look familiar to me. I'm too delirious to think straight, so this thought goes nowhere.
The pursuit of an answer is more defining than the answer itself, for no truth can compare to the truth we've conjured in our head. Hearing an answer may rob us of purpose. We prefer silence. But sometimes, the silence can be maddening. We can convince ourselves that purpose is not important, self-destructive. Purpose breeds strength and victory. We desire victory.
He stands up and holds out his paw. I grab it and he pulls me to my feet. This is the first time I truly see him, but he's standing there, clearly illuminated. You can see him, right? Oh wait! He's covered in scars from head to toe. Almost as if he endured torture or something far worse. Tattoos adorn his arm, much like those on Ulrich's body. Who was this?
We need no name. A name defines an individual. We are many, and therefore cannot be defined. This body is merely a tool. It bends to our will.
Well, no, because we have this thing where we saw, how's it called? As we are many, is part in Castlevania. What was that? Legion. Yeah, Legion. Legion, as we are many. So, yes, we can define a many with a name. So he's wrong. We can just call him spirits, I guess. Maybe, if that's the embodiment of spirits.
We know how confused you are. It's always the same. Come with me. There's still much we need to do. Domic, right? That's the name of your leader?
It was, yes. Turns around and looks at Damic's body.
You said that name in your sleep. You called out to him, but only we responded. He lives. We took care of that while you slept.
That's cheating. It's welcome cheating, but it's cheating. He's alive? I look over and watch his chest move up and down. He's breathing. I'm almost in disbelief at this. What happened?
We will tell you both. There is much to discuss. With the exit cut off, we have sufficient time. A funny concept time. Perhaps another day.
Yes, time is funny. Consider time not as a river, but like as a ball of yarn, and it goes wibbly wobbly. Oh wait, wrong series. We walk over to Damic, and the mystery man takes slow steps again. His limbs appear stiff, as if they've been unused for a long time. I kneel down and shake Damic softly, placing my paw on his shoulder.
He should have been awake by now. His wounds were grievous. He was saved. We were limited, but we did what we could. Rise.
He says this in a demanding tone, and Damic starts to move. His eyes slowly open, and he looks at the both of us as he comes to.
Sailors? Am I dead? What's going on?
Yeah, I kind of thought that this is most likely sailors. And most likely this is not really sailors. Most likely this is only his body. And the spirits kinda use his body. I laugh softly and tell him he's not dead. But he seems to have me confused with sailors.
Sailors!
Wait. His eyes are fixated on the mystery man as he says that name. I take a few steps back, confused and scared at the same time. You know what? This guy is basically the elder before the new elder, the son, overtook Valinov. Why wouldn't we know who Sailors is? We should. Could it possibly be? No. There's no way. This makes no sense.
How are you alive? How am I alive?
This isn't right. Sailors was dead. Our old elder, the rebellion's founder.
Salus, the name of this vessel. He no longer lives. Do not use this name. As we said before, no name is required. We simply exist.
Demek and I look at one another, utterly confused.
Please explain, I don't understand.
Man points at the center of the room.
You will have a seat. You may be satisfied. Or perhaps not. We have some answers, but not all of them.
I reach down and help Demek up. He grunts. There are no wounds on his abdomen. There's nothing. This would require some serious explanation, and fast. I take Demek over to the center of the room, and we sit down. The other man, however, walks over to the exit and inspects it.
Trapped, as always. Do you trust your comrades? We think they are your only hope.
If they survived...
Yes.
He walks over to our location and sits down. I guess all we could do was wait to get rescued. The rebel HQ was full of digging tools, after all.
You will ask, and we may answer.
We may answer. He sits in silence and waits for us to make the next move. 20,000 questions at once. Do you want to answer?
Who are you?
The idol is no more. Its energy was released. It may still glow, but it will soon go dim. Lifeless. Energy must be stored somewhere. Less wasteful. Much of it went into that sword you carry. Some of it was used to heal your wounds. The rest? Well, we found a vessel to use.
A vessel?
This body expired long ago. It offered no resistance and no identity. We thought it would be fitting. We desired a voice.
Who is we?
We are what you call the spirit realm. Until now, our power was stored only in objects. That and vessels which had their own voice, like you.
He looks at me.
So, let me get this straight. The power released from the idol healed us, and it took over Salus's body so it could talk.
Correct.
So, I'm talking to the spirit realm right now.
A portion. The rest resides in his body and the sword. However, the spirit realm is just a term you created to define us. We are more than that, and we finally have a voice in your world.
Demek gulps, getting a little frightened.
Are you peaceful?
That is a relative term.
Are you going to hurt us?
No.
What is your purpose?
An impossible question. Do you know your purpose?
No, I guess not.
We only wish to aid you. Please do not question. It would please us greatly to see the triumvirate fall. We are their victims, just as much as you are, Domic.
Victims?
You do not know the truth of what we are. It is understandable, because we could never tell. Using this voice, we wish to make our suffering known. And using this body, we wish to enact our vengeance. If this is acceptable, we will join you after rescue. If rescue comes, that is. Until then, we talk.
Demek nods. He's taking this very well, actually. After all, he's talking to the corpse of his former leader. But a strategist needed to adapt to change and overcome it. Maybe he's just numb from the trauma of these events.
Of course, but you need to explain. What is the truth of the spirit realm? Were we so wrong that you needed a voice?
We do not blame you for your interpretation. Given your situation, it made perfect sense. But yes, you were wrong. Very wrong.
Me and Demek look at each other once more. I'd never believe this if we didn't just cheat on death. We didn't just cheat death. But given the circumstances, we can't deny the truth. This was a living embodiment of the spirit realm. Much like the idols, but able to walk and talk as well. And if that was the case, then there were no more secrets. He would tell us everything about the spirit realm. The undying question of our history finally answered. What was their purpose and why did they influence us? What are the winning numbers in the lottery for next week? The answers would change everything, forever. And then we fade out because we will not tell you, haha, hee hee. Blue balling us. That's not nice. Eventually ending up in the war room, everyone looks around frantically. It wasn't much longer until they noticed the back corner of the room was caved in. Rather than digest the current events, they search for Damek and the seer.
They must be down with the idol.
Can we even get down there?
Go back to the crew quarters, Fortim. You too, Valessa. Bring us some equipment. We should be able to reach them if we dig.
Of course. What should we look for?
Pickaxes, shovels, stuff like that. Anything to help us get through that rubble.
Right.
Why not dynamite? Oh wait, this is not America. They both run off in search of supplies. It was clear the tunnels caved in, but how bad was it? They cling to the hope that everybody survived.
Hey, are you sure you don't want to join them? Shouldn't they have some sort of protection?
No, everything will be fine. Alex and his forces are on guard. Nobody else will be coming or going.
Then what about Sovi? Do you think he's down there?
No, he's probably long gone.
But I didn't see him run off anywhere. We were all in the tunnels, weren't we?
That's the point, Pro. You don't see a man like him. He comes and goes as he pleases.
Because he can do that, he's basically like a ghost. I mean, otherwise it wouldn't make much sense.
Oh, okay.
Crosses his arms, both confused and concerned.
What should we do while we wait? Are you sure you don't want me to help them?
I'm certain. We need to talk, Pro.
About what?
Let's say Damek did fall in combat. What would we do then? What's our next step?
I don't want to think about that. Losing Salus was more than enough. I'm sure he's alive. We'll find him.
But what if he's not? We need to think, Pro. Things would be in our hands.
Think, Pro. Think.
Our hands?
Yes, we'd be the new leaders. How would we come back from this?
I don't know if we can.
That's why I sent those two away. I don't think they'd be ready to hear this. There's a very real chance that the seer is dead. If that's the case, then there's nothing we can do. We'd never be able to win this war conventionally. That blade in their power was all we had, Pro.
I don't know, Ulrich, but I feel like they're alive. They wouldn't give in so easily.
I guess we'll find out.
Then we need to trust in the spirits, right? They showed Damek a vision of our victory.
But they also showed Valenorth's destruction. We know that was false. They attacked our HQ instead.
Are you saying the spirits were lying?
I don't know, Pro. It's too complicated for me to say. But something tells me that we can't trust the spirits anymore. If they come out from that tunnel, it'll be as changed men.
Dum dum dum. The mysterious man takes a deep breath before starting to talk. Damek and I sit forward in awe. Amazing, almost in disbelief at the situation. The spirit realm was using a vessel to speak directly to us. It's like getting an email from the spirit realm. I'm not sure if we should be honored or terrified.
The rulers of this world, the triumvirate, Already you take up arms against them. This is good. We were unable to do so in our current state. We were trapped.
Trapped?
It all happened in the blink of an eye. Our glorious monarchy, destroyed in an instant. They showed no mercy. They showed nothing. Something happened. Something beyond words. We were simply living life, and then we were not. They forced us to watch them defile our world.
I don't understand.
Neither do we. But that is what happened. They stole our future and our bodies. We were prisoners, bound by celestial chains as they had their way with our world.
So they didn't create Alestia?
No, but they created you, the new residents of Alestia, built in their image of perfection to counter our corrupt nature. They stole our world and our future, handing it off to you.
Please ask what the corrupt nature is.
This is incredible!
Is it?
We do not share the same opinion.
No, I meant the story. I can't believe I'm hearing this right now. We always knew there was more to this world.
This is why we needed a voice. We've suffered for eternities, unable to speak, forced to watch, and cry for help upon deaf ears.
I have a few questions.
Of course.
So, the spirit realm is more like a prison, and it held you and your people captive. Huh. Then what are these visions and idols all about? Almost all of our culture has been built around them, especially Valinor, which is where the seer comes from. Rumor has it that the Triumvirate wanted to destroy the idols.
Over time, we were forced to adapt. We changed. The idols are manifestations of our desire to reach out. They gave us the ability, however minimal, to speak with you.
The visions, you mean?
Yes, but our power was limited, and we were censored. This is why we could never tell you the truth through visions. Whenever we did, the Triumvirate made you see something else.
That's what they did this time then? We saw Valinor getting attacked and strategized about that. But it seems like their plan was always to attack us down here.
Indeed, which is why we chose not to create another idol. Instead, we chose to influence the members of their honor guard, the barracks, the living quarters, the weapons. We did it all for you. We did it so you would survive this trap and help us seek vengeance. It seems the cost was dire, but we succeeded. We shall succeed again. We wish to aid your assault on Balteus and take back our homeland.
So you come from Balteus?
We lived all over Alestia, but Balteus was our capital. The castle there housed the monarch, our king or queen. We may have been corrupt, but we lived in peace. We were happy.
Please ask about this corruption.
What do you mean by corrupt?
Thank you.
We are not certain. Perhaps there is inherent evil in all of us. The Triumvirate deemed that a flaw, and rewrote the world. When your kind was first made, you were mindless slaves.
Apparently it didn't work, considering that we have crime, pirates, war.
Forced to carry out the Triumvirate's bidding. No free will. That is a gift we gave to you through the idols we created. Slowly, our corruption merged with the purity of your kind.
Which now turns around the whole idea of purity and corruption, right? So now corruption stands for spirits and purity stands for the Triumvirate. But it's still questionable if they are truly actually better. Like, I don't say the triumvirate is actually good, but we still miss a lot of information.
That was the first step. After that, we created seers, beings capable of hearing our plight and leading insurrections. To this day, all have failed. We were not strong enough.
Wait, I know where this is going.
Man stands up, motioning his arms to suggest that we do the same. Damek and I both do as instructed, dusting ourselves off while looking up at him.
Yes. That is why we gave the seer all of our power. Enough to wield that blade against your creators and our captors. The timing seemed correct. It is a gamble, but with favorable odds. However, there is another matter at hand. There is no more spirit realm. The idols are all gone, and the power resides within us and that blade. The power within you, Seer, is immense. You carry on our legacy. So now, I will call you what you are.
He immediately kneels down and looks at the floor. If I wasn't mistaken, it looks like he's swearing fealty.
Rightful heir to the throne of the monarchy, my king. I will serve you in this fight to take back our world, and together we will all be free from their grip.
King?
We exchange glances, confused and shocked. The power inside of me made me heir to the throne? Knowing the truth of the spirits was enough, but this is too much. I take a few steps back, overwhelmed. Could I possibly be expected to process this?
Maybe we should slow down here.
We must not. To slow down would be giving them time. They've had enough. We've watched for far too long. The weight of our kind is upon you. Do not let us down.
Before I can even react, I hear a sound from the other side of the room. The rubble that blocked the exit started to crumble and fall to the ground. I can hear the harsh impact of a pickaxe. They have found us. The man remains knelt on the ground. I tell him to rise. He obeys without question, clearly respecting my authority. He considers me his king. I have no idea what to do or say.
As you command.
All of us turn and look at the exit. It isn't much longer until light pierces through. The final bit of rubble is out of the way, and Ulrich emerges.
Damek, we were so worried that you...
He immediately stops in his tracks and staring at us. It's clear that he's shocked at the sight of sailors. Fortame the Lesser and Pro enter shortly after.
What?
Ulrich steps forward, immediately cautious. He looks ready to grab his blade at a moment's notice. I can understand how his confusion and shock manifests this way.
At ease, Ulrich. I'll try my best to explain.
Damek steps forward too, as if to guard both of us.
Everybody, let's go back to the atrium. There's much to discuss, and I'll tell you all the truth.
He looks over at the mysterious man and simply gulps.
Things just got a lot more complicated. For all of us.
We all enter the atrium, and I notice Ulrich is still visibly shocked and angry. Pro seems the same, however, it's less intense. They seem to recognize sailors. Even the less and Fortame seem anxious. Our old and very dead elder, alive? Bodies scatter the floor as well as pieces of white and gold armor. Rebels cry cradling the bodies of their fallen comrades in their arms. There weren't many people left standing. This was a catastrophic attack. 0% troop morale. Great. Demek walks over to a nearby staircase and waves over me and sailors. We follow after him and slowly ascend the stairs. It was time to tell everybody. When we get to the top, he rests his paws on the railing, taking a deep breath.
I guess this is it. Where do I even start?
He shakes his head before clearing his throat. He had a lot of ground to cover. The noise echoes through the atrium and the surviving rebels turn to look. Seeing Demek at the top of the stairs, they gather to listen to their leader.
They say that mercy is the mark of a great man. But there are no great men in war. We've seen that here today. War is only a game to see how much you can lose before giving up. But trust me, we will never give up. Join me, brothers and sisters. Grab a blade from the floor, even if it belonged to their honor guard. Take it. I'd prefer that. The Triumvirate may think they've crippled our resolve, but no. Each swing of that blade will carry the weight of our fallen comrades behind it. We will use that weight to crush their army and make them pay for this attack.
More rebels start to crowd around, looking up at Demek. They have smiles on their faces as they nod along to his words. This inspires him to continue his speech, his morale rising quickly.
When the Triumvirate looks down on that blade in their final moments, I want them to know that they sealed their own fate. Mark my words, family. The Triumvirate shall fall. They will burn for what they've done here today. And in the end, they will beg for the mercy they were too unkind to give to us. We will free this world from their grip and deliver it to the hands of the righteous. Our dynasty will be marked with blood, yes, but theirs was marked with far more.
He looks over at sailors and motions for him to step forward. Doing so, a lot of the rebels look shocked, much like Ulrich and Pro.
The Spirit Realm has given us one final blessing. The truth. Standing here before you is not Salis. He has become a vessel. This is the Spirit Realm embodied, powered by our underground idol. Driven by the howls of countless spirits, he seeks vengeance. But he has also brought with him the answers to our every question. No longer shall we live in the dark. We know the true nature of things.
Everyone mumbles among themselves, clearly confused. I glance over at Ulrich and Pro, and they seem a bit more calm. As odd as this truth was, they seem to trust Demek no matter what.
We are not the only victims of the Triumvirate's wrath. The Spirit Realm is not what we believed. Not at all. What we cherished and worshipped was a prison. A prison to house the previous residents of Alestia. Residents that were deemed too corrupt by the Triumvirate. As they were pushed aside, we were created to serve. The Triumvirate did not create our world, but they did create us in the image of perfection. We were pure and existed only to follow their every order. But over time, the previous residents reached out from their prison. Growing in strength, they created what we called the Spirit Idols. These were used to slowly give our people the gift of free will. Though pure, we lacked the abilities to be ourselves. This was the greatest gift we could ever ask for. They opened our eyes, allowing us to fight back. But so far, every insurrection has failed. This is what we will change, thanks to the Seer.
He waves me over, and I take a few steps forward. The rebels stare at me with hope in their eyes. The perfect counter to the despair I saw earlier.
You see, the Spirit Realm is no more. All of the energy in that realm has found a new home. Some of it is in this vessel, and some of it is in the blade. but the largest portion resides within the seer. That is why he is uniquely capable of wielding the blade. Alestia's previous residents, the ancient monarchy, are responsible. They saw a way to help us defeat the Triumvirate and took it. But you see, we no longer fight for ourselves. We fight for everybody. If we lose, both us and the monarchy perish. We cannot let this happen. We are the only people capable of carrying out this objective. There won't be another chance. No more seers, no more blades. We will show them that their vision of a pure world is flawed. But in order to do so, I must step down as the general. You see, this army is no longer mine to lead. I'm sorry. This new truth changes both the world and our cause.
Damek motions for me to come closer, so I do. He smiles. I'm standing right beside him, resting my paw on the banister. I see such a wide array of emotions coming from the rebels' faces.
As I mentioned, the seer was blessed with immense power. But what he truly has within is the souls of the monarchy, giving him the strength to use that blade. He is our champion. But he is more than just our champion. He is our king, rightful heir to the throne of Alestia, our true ruler. By decree of the spirits, we are his to command.
All eyes are on me now. I glance over at Valessa and Fortane. They are in complete shock and awe at this revelation. But I am too. Without saying anything, I reach back for the blade and pull it out. I look at the rebels and hold the blade up in the air, and then I pass out because I still cannot handle it. The beams of light from the surface serve to illuminate its beauty. This elicits rigorous applause from the rebels as they cheer on me. Yay, we have reached back 5%. I smile, looking down at my friends and comrades. In this moment, it seemed like the hope we lost had finally returned. Not really. There was still lots to take care of, but we knew that this wasn't over.
If you'll excuse us, we need to make some new plans. But I'll have an itinerary posted in the barracks by morning. Until then, please do your best to clean up this atrium. And please, bring the bodies down to the spirit idol. It seems only fitting, and there's plenty of room. With that said, you're all dismissed. Thank you.
Damek turns to face me and Salos. He smiles, realizing his job is done.
Well then, back to the war table. We need to talk about our next step. Without a bigger army, we won't win. And I think I know what to do. Come on, bring your friends too. I'll grab Ulrich and Pro. Let's do this.
Something seems different about Damek. He's not as happy and energetic as he was before. But he seems a lot more confident and resolute. When I get to the bottom of the stairs, Valessa and Fortane appear. I can tell they are overwhelmed, but they also seem happy for me. They seem to disregard the resurrection of sailors and focus on me.
I always knew you were special, but a king? And no more spirit realm. What's going to happen?
Well, I'm going to open a fast food restaurant chain and call it Burger King.
That is so cool, Seer! Or I guess I should call you King now. Or maybe Monarch? I don't know, it's just cool!
He laughs and shuffles in place awkwardly. They may not want to talk about it, but they know. Everything feels off right now. Things are so confusing.
I hope that we can work all of this out. Let's go plan our next move with Damek. I wonder what he has in mind for us.
Intermission. We have a noise. Audio problems? Okay, but just for the sake of being sure that this is not a problem, I'm just going to restart the game. I've saved. I just really don't want to risk that. Just making sure. Usually it happens around 3 to 4 hours.
We come back from this loss.
Vanessa looks at all the bodies on the atrium floor. It's also covered in blood, likely to stain for a long time. If Salos could come back from the dead, then what about them?
Yeah, we can't let their deaths be in vain. Like Dominic said, they need to give us strength. The only thing we can do is hope that it's enough.
We all arrive back at the war table, taking sighs of relief. Damek's speech was great. It helped the rebels to find hope again, despite it was just 5%. But they would need more than words to win the upcoming battle.
So, we need to find a new army. But recruiting Mazaeans would take far too long. We need to take drastic measures and fast.
So we're gonna ask the gnomes, right? There are many of them.
This is where my initial plan comes into play. We can use that spiritual energy to create seers. They could see the outcome of every battle, every attack.
Right. What is this? We create like multiple Neos now? Right.
That doesn't make any sense, Damek. Visions lied to the king, led us into a trap. The Triumvirate could just do that all over again.
Great, now everybody's going to call me king. But what if I don't want to be king? What then? Huh? I notice he uses my new title. It still feels odd.
I'm not sure that's how it works. Beforehand, the visions came from their prison. That means the Triumvirate could tamper with the outflow. But now, all of that is in the hands of the king. There's nothing more getting in the way, see what I mean? The power of the spirit realm is now ours to wield, Ulrich.
Have you asked sailors about that before you just make conclusions out of the blue?
That still doesn't make any sense. The spirit realm isn't what we thought it was, Damek. It was just a prison. How can that help us tell the future?
Before Damek can respond, Salos steps forward.
That was our culture. We all had this ability. It is how the monarchy lived in peace and prosperity. There was no danger left unchecked. No chance. The world was being guided to the one true future. It is not unlike the concept of fate that some believe in. but it is tangible. We knew where we were going. Always. That is why the triumvirate was such a shock to us. An unknown variable in a future we completely mapped out. It was too late to adapt. We were already shackled. We slowly learned to lend our foresight to your world. However, we were only strong enough to help one individual. This is the concept you have learned to call the seer, or seeress.
Even so, why did they not try to investigate? Because by this point, we still don't know what the triumvirate is. Like, wouldn't that be in your interest to know? Apparently, you couldn't see them in your future.
Domic's theory is sound. There is no longer any interference. The source of this power is now the king, rather than a prison. He can freely give this power to any individual he pleases.
Can he give it to himself?
Why? Huh? Huh? What? First question, if I give this to other people, wouldn't that weaken me in turn? Second question, why is Damek asking this? That's basically asking me, he's a battery, right? Can he charge himself?
We would not recommend this course of action. Every vision he induces would reduce his overall strength. It would whittle away at the monarchy, slowly killing us all. Furthermore, he does not know how to ration this power. He could end up expending almost all of it with a single vision. We would recommend giving a small portion of power to others.
I see. I'm a receiver and sender. Ah, see, I'm a satellite dish.
However, they would be rendered useless after this war. Using this power would be too much for their mind.
Useless?
They would be unable to think for themselves, or at all. The king could only do this because he grew up with that power. Just like our culture. To receive it too late can wreak havoc on the mind.
So they'd just sit around until they died?
Unless you fed them.
There must be another way. Just look in front of you. That energy could be used to bring back the forces we lost. We could create more vessels for the monarchy. More soldiers.
Ulrich was right. There was no more than one choice here. It wouldn't be right to condemn our people to a zombie-like existence. Their mind died out after the war. They would have no victory to enjoy.
We would not advise this action. We can barely maintain this form. The wounds that ended Salus are burning, as if freshly inflicted. It is only tolerable because of the immense power within us. Lesser beings would be feeling eternal pain, and death does not come easily to a vessel like this. Wounds endured during the war would add to this pain. We would not wish this punishment upon anybody. Life in eternal pain, a constant memory of their own death. They perished for your cause. Give them the rest they deserve.
I don't know. An army of seers would be great for strategizing, but stealing their own future from them? That's wrong. On the other hand, bringing back the dead? I'm unsure.
The pain would fuel their rage and make them stronger. They could eventually learn to manage it with medicine. At least they'd have a future. The seers certainly wouldn't.
There must be something else we can do.
Not if you wish to make use of this power. It is powerful when used, but limited in scope. I will help the king carry out whichever he decides.
Right, I guess it's not my place to choose. Sorry, I must be still adjusting to this change.
Suddenly all eyes are upon me. I have no idea what to say or do, so I run away. Eternal pain or robbing the futures. Raiding seers would ruin their mind after the war. They would just sit in a chair while we fed them to remain alive. But an army of vessels, they would feel nothing but excruciating pain. And not even death would come to free them from that pain. Body could get ravaged, but the power would still be inside. If only it were possible to cure them of this pain after the war was over. Or for that matter, I wish it were possible to preserve the seers' minds. But neither option was a foreseeable cure. This is a choice involving the war. We needed an immediate boost in forces, and it seemed that no cost was too high. What should I do? Why do I always have to decide this? Ask Valessa.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I really can't help you this time.
You're asking too much of me. Sorry. This isn't something I could possibly decide.
Great. That doesn't help. Basically, Salah's suggestion is the seers, if I understood this correctly. No, actually, Damek wants the seers. But Salos also said like he doesn't want the monarch vessels because it would mean exactly what they go through. Let me see. So we are at 10:30. 10:30. Just choose something because I'm curious what it influences. So we'll just choose something. 10:30. So if I go here, it's still 10:30.
Very well.
That didn't change anything. So if we survive the dead, they would basically feel pain. They would fight for us, and even if they die, they would retain this state of pain for all eternity. If we create seers, that would help them to foresee the future, basically make them kind of invincible, but they will break. Like the mind will break after the war, and they can only be sitting around and being fed, and yeah, it's gonna be the. Here's the other question: if we create an army of seers, was that? Why is the skip button active? I don't know. So if we create seers, who would become seers? Living people? AKA we would take the remaining rebels and turn them into seers? Is that the idea? And the other idea is to turn all the dead we have back into living. Did I understand this correctly in that way? Do you remember that? Yeah, okay. You know, this is actually not a fair decision, because yes, we are talking about this, we know this, but seemingly because one decision affects people still being alive, it would be only fair to actually tell them that we have this decision and ask them, would you do this? If you have the choice here to say yes or no. And then based on that, if most would say yes, we could like kind of split this decision if necessary. Because I would say not everybody would agree to that. But I can also see that some would agree to this. Because one side is alive. They could say, yes, I want to do this, or no, I don't want to do this. I cannot ask dead people of like, would you like to live again in eternal pain? How about it? Like, seems a bit unfair, this decision. That the decision is here, yes, but it makes from a logical standpoint not much sense to not ask the people of that. Because why would I expect to step out and go like, I'll make you all seers, and then like, oh yeah, and something else, but that's not important, haha, hee hee. So this is not a decision between purity and corruption, and apparently corruption is better than purity. Hmm. Hmm. I don't know. I can't tell you. His name is Grease with a Y. Yeah, let's see. So if we would have 50%, but they would know, which means they wouldn't actually be harmed, we would have 50%. Or we made 100. And we still could lose them as no matter what decision you do, you will piss off people. If you make seers, basically piss off people when they get to know about that. Maybe even like family that do not understand why they had to do this or because they chose to do this. If you do it with the dead, it's basically, well, The thing is, if you raise the dead, and even if they die to continue to exist in eternal pain, you piss off anyone who knows those dead people. These people would also live in agony if they survive. If they die, they continue to be in agony. Someone at some point will spill those information, and people will be angry about that decision. Even more so that they know that they didn't get revived just to fight and die, and that's it, and the price would be just pain until their death, and then it's okay. It just continues with the same way, and they also wouldn't have a saying in that at all. And the other thing is, if I make seers, what they don't tell me here is, will I just stand there and say like, yeah, you gonna be seers? Will I tell them what the consequence is of this and give them the choice? Or will I stand there and say like, yeah, I'm going to turn you into seers, not tell them what the consequence is, and basically give them no choice and say like, I'm your kings, therefore you do. Will I stand there, tell the people and say like, I can turn you into a seer, this is the consequence, choose. That's what they don't tell me. Because based on how the characters treat, the way that Demek is leading the rebels would tell me that he would never make a choice like that with the seers and give them no choice. He would tell them, he would say, we can turn you into a seer, you will be able to survive anything that comes at you in this war, but there's a very high chance that your mind will break and you will become basically disabled for the rest of your life. You can choose to do this, or you can choose not to do this, with the risk that you will most likely not survive the war if you do not choose to become a seer. In the end, that sounds more fair than raising dads for eternal pain during their revival time and after they die again, because it could potentially create in the future the misguided information of like, the current monarch is a necromancer and he just did it to get back into power. While meanwhile the other one you actually can explain, and even if you piss off family and friends of people who would end up with a broken mind, you could still tell them that it was their choice. Of course, they could deny to believe you that, but it would create far less problems than the other one. At least if I look at this from this standpoint. While I expect that we will tell the living ones what their choice would mean, and we will not just force them. I stay with that. I think this is the better solution. It's both shit. It doesn't matter. It's both shit, regardless. But it seems this is still the better one, because I fully expect that people can choose and not just be forced to do it.